Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the Rekt Capital channel, where we're going to be talking about today the macro downtrend breakout and what sort of scenario are we going to be seeing very soon. Is that going to be a 2019 scenario? Also going to be a retesting scenario where we first see a short-term dip before further upside. Nonetheless, Bitcoin confirming this macro downtrend breakout has confirmed mid to long-term upside, because we've seen mid to long-term upside whenever Bitcoin has confirmed a macro downtrend breakout in the past. So it's all about the short term. Are we going to get that dip? Or are we just going to move towards the upside like we saw in 2019? So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Subscribe to the channel. Let's dive right into it. And before we do, of course, I just wanted to let you know that we have collaborated here with Bybit. You can sign up in the link in the description down below. Sign up for a bonus of up to $30,000, $30,000. Get 15% fee discount and have a chance at winning an iPhone 14. And of course, if you get a bonus of up to 30k, you can get more than a few iPhones. So this giveaway, you wouldn't really need this giveaway if you get a bonus of up to $30,000. So feel free to sign up to get your bonus, to get your fee discount, and have a chance at winning the iPhone 14. Feel free to sign up in the link in the description down below. So just talking about 2019, because we touched upon that in the previous chart, how we might be seeing some similarities right now. And it's really interesting because in 2019, we had a ascending triangle. On April 1st, we had a massive breakout candle. And for multiple weeks, we just held the highs, consolidating at the highs. And what we're seeing here is breaking out beyond a key resistance. Massive breakout candle and a sideways channel. So Bitcoin holding the highs, consolidating at the highs, very low volatility, price compression, and price compression tends to precede volatility because this is unsustainable for Bitcoin. Holding such a narrow range for an extended period of time is unnatural for price. It's compression that cannot be sustained. So it's an unsustainable environment just to go sideways like that for too long, which is why we see strong breakouts or breakdowns following such sideways channels. So in this case, we're seeing a breakout, and here we could be seeing another breakout as well if 2019 is repeating, and we're seeing loads of signs that it might be repeating. But I just want to dissect this a bit more because it is quite interesting. Because if we focus on this pattern here, this is an ascending triangle, and the bottom in this cycle was also an ascending triangle, but not a macro one. This was a micro ascending triangle. So if you just put a horizontal resistance here, trend line here, so an almost imperceptible but a subtle higher low here, that's an ascending triangle on the micro scale. This is more of a macro ascending triangle. And the reason I say that this is a micro ascending triangle is because we had a left shoulder form here, we had a right shoulder form here, and this isn't just hindsight bias, me explaining the pattern right now that this pattern has played out. This is actually a pattern that I spoke about in the January 30th edition of the newsletter. So that was around the head area before we had that right shoulder, or even before then. I can't remember right now. The newsletters are there, the proof is there. So in any case, here is the left shoulder, and the right shoulder formed a little higher, the right shoulder forming a little higher, being a bit more compressed, being more volatile, and you can see that in the downside wick that ended that right shoulder. So this neckline here is the validation point for that inverse head and shoulders formation, and we've broken out there. So generally, this is the macro pattern, and this is the macro pattern. And the reason that they're similar is that this is the confirmation of the macro pattern, which is the ascending triangle, and this is the confirmation point of the macro pattern, which is the inverse head and shoulders. So the similarities really lie in the fact that macro pattern breakout, macro pattern breakout, validation point. And since we got that breakout, and you can see that this is a confirmation signal that this blue line across cycles is really important, because we got a massive move in a single weekly candle. And these weekly candles, they are quite historic. If you look to the charts in the past, Bitcoin doesn't print such long, wide green candles like that. So this is quite historic, and this just confirms that those are really key breakout levels, and we've seen that happen. And these have broken out into sideways channels and sideways channels as well. So if we're seeing a repeat of June 2019, that being the top, of course, this 2019 rally, then it would be interesting to see us, of course, not go to all-time highs. We're probably going to have a diminished rally because of maturing markets and whatever the case may be. And of course, not only that, but also the 4-year cycle, how we don't see new all-time highs in 2023. Some people will be saying that we're going to see new all-time highs this year. And to say that would be to assume that we're not seeing diminishing returns. And the market has been showing us for many years that we are seeing diminishing returns with each passing cycle. So to think that we're going to see a new all-time high this year and see a repeat of June 2019 with a similar magnitude move, that refutes, that goes against that diminishing return. So especially if anyone says that we're going to see new all-time highs because we're going to see a repeat of 2019 and that magnitude, and there isn't a diminishing returns, and then later arguing, well, we're not going to really see beyond 100k because we're seeing diminishing returns, it's kind of inconsistent. So those are kind of things to watch out for. Consistency and analysis, and bearing in mind all these macro price predicaments and characteristics, really, that's something that's really important and often gets lost in the short term when trying to perhaps predict a move or two. But in any case, over the next few months would be really interesting to see how price could rally, and that would get us to June as well, or around May. But at the same time, this sort of bottoming formation has been a longer one than this 2019 formation, so we're seeing a changing in the cycles as well. And so to just say that this rally is going to last the same amount, well, it could actually last a little bit longer, and we might see a lot more periods of consolidation. But at the moment, we're seeing a lot of checkpoints, and that's how I like to think of them, that this breakout point being consistent across cycles, macro bottom formation being consistent across cycles. And just remember, just looking at this, these checkpoints are just principles. Sideways channel after breakout point. So of course, this is going to be the next logical dipping area, but like you see here, we never got that dip. People were really just waiting here. And this is a sideways consolidation, but many investors were also sidelined, waiting for a dip. And that's an interesting analogy there. So breakout, and we could see a rally take place over the next few weeks into major resistance. It's interesting because this is actually the remnant. We can't really see that. This is the remnant of the 6k region, which many people thought would be a massive resistance, and we just broke beyond that, easily retested it quite successfully, and then moved to new highs. So many people talking about 30k being the massive resistance. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see a breakout from the sideways channel, retest this level as a support, and then move high, and then really just get people questioning their life choices. But generally speaking, really interesting similarities here. And on Twitter, I've been sharing some short-term views as well, because of course on the weekly time frame it looks like it's sideways consolidation. Let's see if a bull flag of some sort forms here, just like we saw right over here. That would be very interesting. But on the short term, we need to first dispel the broadening channel on the daily time frame, but also the double top potential formation forming on the daily. We might be getting that second double top, that second part of the M, because a double top is an M-like shape. So that second part of the M is needed for that double top to be validated. And if we see a double top drop to 27k, then we have the second part of that formation lose 27k, and that's probably going to lead us to this level right over here, which leads me to my next point, that if we see that double top formation play out, then we'd see a 2015 scenario rather than a 2019 scenario. So far we're seeing the 2019 scenario play out. We've spoken about those similarities. But what about 2015? If we get that double top formation validated on the daily time frame, then we could be in for a deeper dip, and that deeper dip would be to the macro downtrend for a retest attempt to fully confirm this breakout move, because a macro downtrend, whenever it's broken, it precedes mid to long-term upside. We know that it precedes mid to long-term upside, but with any breakout confirmation, and this is textbook, when we see a monthly candle close beyond, and it can be any candlestick close, whether that's a weekly close, daily close, whichever time frame you're trading. But in this case, this is a monthly close. That's initial confirmation of the breakout, and a retest is that second confirmation of the breakout. And really, a successful retest then precedes trend continuation, and one could argue that step 3 is trend continuation and have that supporting buy side volume. So really important to watch out for the volume indicator in this case, which is it's an indicator that gives you incoming data, whereas like the MACD is a lagging indicator, for instance. So do we get a retest scenario? Really interesting to just think about that. If we lose this sideways channel, then definitely retest scenario is in full force. It's going to start shifting into a 2015-like situation, because even if you think about 2015 and that consolidation period, this consolidation period was quite lengthy right over here. So we're seeing a mixture between these two cycles. So the fact that we've seen a lot of similarities with 2019 in what we spoke about just a moment ago with the sideways channel, the macro breakout. We're also seeing 2015 consolidation range. Of course, this was, in fact, it would be interesting to see, because it was a lengthy consolidation period, but it wasn't quite the same. It was a longer one in this cycle, just a bit longer. So that's interesting. A combination of the years, and I think we're going to continue seeing a combination of the years going forward. But so far, it's similar to 2019. But if we get that double top formation validate itself on the daily time frame, then we're going to see 2015 retest scenario, and the sideways channel is going to be lost as well. And that's going to be your weekly confirmation that we're going to see a healthy dip. But in any case, Bitcoin is really well positioned in the mid to long term, but it's about the short term. Do we get that last dipping opportunity to enjoy some dollar cost averaging in the 25, 23K region? Can we get that? Because if we get that, that's going to be one of the last opportunities in those regions for several months. So from an investor's point of view, I hope for a pullback. I am ready. I'm certainly ready for the breakout that's happened already. I'm ready for the trend continuation. But do we get one more chance? I wouldn't scoff at that opportunity. But if we don't get that chance, then we'll just have to wait for a sideways consolidation, perhaps post-halving, for instance, or a deeper retrace like this to really get those dollar cost average buys refilled at lower price levels. But Bitcoin is gearing for an uptrend and lots to look forward to. Really looking forward to it. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. Like it, of course, if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, of course. And feel free to sign up to Bybit in the link in the description down below. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you found it educational. I'll speak to you in the next one. I'm Rekt Capital. Speak to you soon.